Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is Clayton, and this is the 60 subscriber special for my YouTube channel. So, a couple weeks back in a video that I posted to the channel, I said that I wanted to do a 50 subscriber special for the channel, and now I'm pushing almost 60 subscribers. I'm just one sub away from reaching that goal, and I figured that I would release this 60 subscribers special for you guys. Where I react to over 12 different short films that were submitted to a film club that I had said that I'm a member of. These films range in genre and pertain to certain mythical creatures and like cryptids and stuff, because it was there's a category where everybody had to like draw they had to draw a genre out of a hat, or at least a certain creature or cryptid from a hat, and they had to make a film in under 48 hours. It was a 48-hour film festival submission for these independent filmmakers, and I figured that I would give my perspective on just how exactly they might have made these films and what I generally think of these films, given that they only had a weekend to work on them. So without wasting any more time, I'm going to open up these films, which I removed the beginning and ending credits of some of these films in order to speed up the runtime so that I can react to all of them in a nice, timely manner. So without wasting any more time, let's get into it. So the first film out of this list of 12 different films, I think it's around 12 from when I had counted all these, is The Tale of the Jackalope by the Camcorders. That was the name of the group that I guess had put this sort of thing together. Here in a minute you'll see the name of the writer and the director. So right there it says written by Gilletta Brandt and directed by Max Brandt. That's of course the writer and director. And of course there's lots of little, I guess, lots of little like pre-made like film grain pops, I guess is what you'd call them. And the film takes place on November 26, 1936. Of course I did say these are made in the course of a weekend, and it's very obvious that this film here is definitely not filmed in 1936, but they tried to make do with what they had. So I'm just going to get into it. We're looking for a jackalope. So one of the first things you're going to notice about this film is that it's cropped kind of weird. It is in high definition, but it's cropped in like I guess you consider ultra widescreen. So it's like I think it's like 1920 by like 700 or something. Of course, I believe this is filmed on a phone, so that would explain the weird aspect ratio. Most of these are actually in high definition, 1080p. One of them was in 720p, and you can see here there's lots of weird cropping. That like semi-transparent phone crop is on the sides, and then for some reason they decided to make this film in, they gave it like a 3D filter, like if you want to watch it in 3D, but it's a little uneventful, but you know, it is what it is. The text too, it's very generic. I don't know which font that is, but it just kind of seems like they just worked with what they had. I would have put a little bit more time into it. But this is about the jackalope, which is a rabbit with, for those of you that don't know, the jackalope was an urban legend. It's been portrayed as like a rabbit with antlers, and there's no rabbit in this film, but I guess this is the thought that counts. I don't know. So we're trudging around in the woods with the POV of the cameraman. I actually do like this. I think it's real up close and personal. And then we find a whiskey bottle that obviously was not around in 1930, what was it, 1936. It said like Members Mark on it. That's I think a newer brand. Of course we're trudging through some leaves. Sort of taking it all in. This would actually be a pretty good location for a Bigfoot film. Nice and claustrophobic with all them weeds and bushes and trees. But so far, nothing's really happened. There's not even like a jump scare, I don't think. Of course, I don't really know why you want to put your finger in front of the lens unless something got stuck to it. But we're just combing the woods right now. I guess this is in 3D. I mean, it might be a little hard to look at, but see, I didn't have 3D glasses, so I can't really get the full-on effect. Not to mention, I think the film's in black and white anyway, because it's in 1936, so it'd be in black and white. We have a big pile of chopped up trees. This is probably on somebody's property. Is that a jackalope? That is most certainly not a jackalope, that is a deer. Just kind of minding its own business. And then we have, I can assume this is the director, Max. This right here is sort of a gripe of mine, where you know, you have actors in a film that are supposed to be in like peril and they're smiling. It does kind of take you out of the film, but he's just wearing like a normal white t-shirt and I think shorts and shoes. Again, that's not really something people would be wearing, or well, most people wouldn't be wearing that in 1936, but I digress. And then that was the end of the jackalope. And I mean, it is what it is. All of these others get way more like creative, and as you can see here, the aspect ratio is in full high definition. This is the Loveland Frogman by Team No Brains. I don't think the director's name is on this or anything. I could be wrong, but this one here is more of like a comedy kind of skit, or this is more of a comedy skit, so it's not quite as serious as the last film I looked at. But I do like this little collage here with the hand-drawn logo. It's kind of creative. And also, some of these I haven't really seen since they came out, and some of them I didn't even sit through all the way because there's so many of them. They all just kind of got uploaded on one day. So I'm going to take in a lot more of this because you know, there's a lot more going on here. I think this is like a birthday party.
Hey!
Hi! Happy birthday!
Thank you. So
birthday
when
party.
are you gonna be over?
I saw that last night. I think it was the Frogman.
The Frogman?
Yeah, I just don't want to go anywhere with ponds. I hope you understand.
So you're not coming?
I think right there, I think the cameraman kind of bumped it.
Sorry I couldn't make it.
You're the only person that I invited over.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is another thing I see in a lot of lower budget films, is that nobody really likes to cut out the dead air in the dialogue. I don't know if that's in there for comedic effect or if they just decide to not cut it out, but it makes a huge difference, I think, in a lot of these independent films. It makes everything kind of like makes it more uniform. Makes it go a lot faster. Yeah, this is definitely filmed on a phone. A second ago, there was a rack focus for the lens, for the the lens focus, I mean. That's another common thing that happens with all these smartphone films.
La 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 la. Yeah. La 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 la. Hmm? Frogs?
That's another thing I wanted to bring up. I don't think I've ever seen somebody bring their laptop into the kitchen just to play one song.
Hi.
It's you. You ruined my birthday party.
I can party.
Really?
We were just drinking, having fun. There's no need for a bachelor's blood. Here comes the small patrol to shut it down.
So yeah, the big reveal is that the Frogman is just a frog toy with some voiceover, and the implications is that he was just walking up to the door, even though he doesn't really hop. He just walks up to the door. Personally, I would have had a shot in there where the frog kind of jumps to the door, just so it has a little bit more continuity with, you know, the actual size of the frog and how it would move.
Nobody's in the USA. Nobody's in this town is reported. Suspicious.
His tongue's a pipe cleaner. That right there, let me back that up. That right there is the same trick I think they use in Hollywood for when somebody has to vomit. You stick a hose on the side of your mouth, or well, the side of your cheek, and it's like pumped through and it looks like you're vomiting. It's the same setup, but the angle right here kind of ruins it a little bit. I would have changed the angle so it looked like it was actually coming out of his mouth. I would have redone this shot if I were the director.
So, what are you gonna do now?
Probably gonna hang out in this pond.
You know, my friend was worried about that. But I don't think you're that bad. I mean, I didn't know frogs could bake cakes or scrapbook, so.
Nobody ever takes the time to get to know me.
I can definitely hear a difference in the audio between the narrator for the frog and her, where her audio is captured, of course, in person outside, while the secondary person is obviously indoors recording without any like special filtering to make it appear like they're outside. That's another gripe of mine.
You know what, Frogman? You're pretty cool.
Call me Steven.
That was the Loveland Frogman. Alright, so I'm picking up where I left off last night with this 60 subscriber special. Some of my footage had gotten corrupted yesterday evening, so I'm going to try and redo this. And I'm going to try and pick up where I left off and go from there. So I'm not going to waste any time, I'm just going to go straight into it. So this is by Team Wookie Films. This is Wasted Mutation. And I wanted to say that I I really like this titling on here, and I like this design here with the alligator. The shading behind the titling is also another nice added touch. I think this is a really professional looking title card for a short film like this, and yeah, I think someone really put some work into this. And since my screen's probably blocking out the text, I'm just going to read it. While working on a construction job, Tommy checked a storm sewer, and his life as a mutant began. And I do appreciate the Christopher Nolan style, like brrr, you know, just blasting bass. But,
Let me make sure there's no blockage in the storm drain before we get started. Ah! Oh, it's got me! Ah!
Something else that I didn't mention in my other footage that, like I said, had gotten ruined. I failed to mention that he used like a little like alligator like puppet, hand puppet for you know, this scene. I think that's an nice little added touch to it. It's really imaginative, and that's not really something you see in a lot of you know, lower budget short films like this. After recovering from the attack, Tommy meets with mutant handler Agent Smith. That, of course, is a reference to, I think, the Matrix.
Hello, Tommy. Mutant number 43211. How are you adapting to your mutant powers?
Powers? I don't have any powers, man. All I got is this baby sewer alligator hand.
I actually have one of those. And that was a nice little reference to X-Men there with, oh, are you getting used to your mutant powers? You know, and actually, there was a short film that was released back when I was going to college. One of the students had done a short film with like this exact same premise with a sock puppet instead of an alligator hand, and it was also played for comedic effect. So,
I mean, look at it. It's disgusting. And it stinks.
Oh, come on. It can't be that bad.
Okay. Let me tell you about my day. I woke up this morning, figured I'd brush my teeth, like I do every morning. Except I couldn't get the cap off, let alone spread it on my toothbrush or brush my teeth. So I figured I'd try to tie my shoes. Couldn't even get the string in the hand. I was just fumbling around. So I figured, okay, I'm gonna play some music. You know, calm myself down. The strumming was all wrong, the sound wasn't.
and I just noticed something too that I didn't notice last night. I feel like in his shirt pocket he's got his voice recorder kind of situated right there, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't notice that the other night.
Good. So I figured, okay, well, I'm gonna play my Xbox. Maybe that'll calm me down. Couldn't hit the trigger, couldn't hit the buttons. And then I tried to go for a drive. I couldn't hold the steering wheel, couldn't turn the key or shift. I think I need a new car. So I figured, okay, I'm gonna do something real simple. Take a drink of a bottle of water. I couldn't get the cap off. And when it did, it went everywhere. So I figured I'd just go back inside and play video games on my phone. The only problem was, whenever I went to touch something to make something happen, I couldn't. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna eat my favorite candy. I couldn't get the wrapper open. I mean, imagine that, eating your favorite candy with a baby sewer alligator hand. I mean, if you did get it open, it'd probably just get everywhere and look even more disgusting and stink even more. So I figured I'd try to play cards with my buddies. Man, as soon as I picked up that deck and tried to shuffle, cards went everywhere.
Well, there's got to be some bright side.
Yeah, I guess there is one. It makes it a really good back scratcher.
Okay, and that was Wasted Mutation. Like I said, I think this one has a lot more effort put into it than some of these other films on here. and I'm going to speak about this one here in a minute. This one here is The Keepers, and it's about fairies rather than, you know, mutants or frogmen or you know, a jackalope. And I'll speak about here. I'll speak about that here in a minute. All right. So picking up where I left off, this is The Keepers. It is about fairies rather than the other mythical creatures I'd mentioned. I did censor a little bit of this because there is a kid in it, and I want to comply with COPPA. And later on, there's another film where I had censored out some license plates because somebody had left their license plate in the final edit of their film. And yeah, that was something that I had altered. But other than that, I don't want to waste any more time, so I'm going to start this off.
I've been in the forest singing birds.
Fairy tales, myths, stories shared through the years.
So that very abrupt, like weird audio mixing and editing, that was in the final cut of this short film. There's also some other like weird things too, where the audio cuts off.
Fairies are the truth keepers.
Right after they were divorced. She died around Mother's Day.
So right there was a little bit of exposition. Right after they had gotten divorced, it was right around Mother's Day. The backstory for this, I guess, is that somebody had a disease where they had passed away, and I guess the implication is that the fairies or the truth keepers hold on to those like memories or those things that occur out in nature in the real world that we experience. That's what I kind of take away from this.
I had to make a decision. Her organs had stopped working. She was on dialysis.
So right there, you heard it. I had to make a decision. Her organs had stopped working. She was on dialysis. Of course, the implication is that somebody had passed away, probably of diabetes, and it was a very serious situation, which is juxtaposed by these really intense visuals of just smoke and lens flares and light. And another thing that I thought was really unique is that one shot where she has her hands clasped and there's like a ball of light. I don't know if they had done that in After Effects or what exactly they had used, but I have no idea how they did that, so I thought that was really kind of special with this.
Her toes were turning black. I see her. I see him. And hawks. And deer. And the sunrise. And the fireflies.
You know, many fantastical stories or tales are the only ones carrying silenced history. I know you have heard of fairies, one in particular, the Tooth Fairy. Fairies are the ones that carry history. They even give rewards for a lost tooth. Have you ever had an inspiration, a melody that just pops into your head, or a gift of an idea, an inkling to search for something lost a long time. That is a fairy. Those gifted by fairies ought to be very careful to quickly act. Use the gifts, or else the fairy, forced to be a keeper of histories forgotten, ideas lost, dreams forsaken, will have to take the dream, the idea, the gift back. Both a blessing and a pain. Fairies keep the beauty and the hurt of the silenced and forgotten, and ensure that one day the truth can be set free.
Fairies are the truth keepers.
And that was The Keepers, segueing into the next film, which was by Strangers from Nowhere. That was the name of the group that worked on this film. The Study, which is about the Chupacabra. Okay, so let's get into this next film here, The Study. Nice little POV shot.
Clive, I assume you got the package.
Yeah, so I know every time you send something to my study instead of to the lab, it's gonna end up being super weird, but I'm at a loss for this one, man. What is it even supposed to be?
Chupacabra.
Oh wait, you're serious?
Well, sort of. We're not sure. We were...
Two important little details here is in the lower left-hand corner, which you probably can't see it because that's where my, I believe my cam is at. I think his recording microphone is sitting on his desk, and you'll see it in a shot further on. And also, I like how he's observing this scientific specimen with no sterilization on his desk.
We're hoping that you could make a positive ID on it. But supposedly it's Chupacabra meat.
Okay, walk me through this.
It was confiscated 3 days ago by border agents in Santa Teresa, New Mexico. It was being smuggled into the U.S. along with other illegal exotic animal meat like sea turtles, shark fins, that kind of thing. But there was something strange.
So there it is right there in the lower left-hand corner. I'd say it's probably out of the shot where you can probably see it now, but it looks like he has like a little capsule microphone with a wind muff on the end of it, or a little plosive filter on it. He does have a cassette recorder in the right-hand corner, but he's definitely not using that. So
About this one in particular. What I heard, although it didn't make it into the official report, is that the sample you have was part of a larger piece, some kind of reptile, but large. I mean, like human size.
You're kidding, right?
What if I told you that somebody paid $4 million for that piece of meat?
Jesus.
There's a group of businessmen in Atlanta. They became huge players in the black market last year. They were buying into rhino horn powder to snort for luck or whatever. And now all the rage, he seems to be cryptid meat. It's a weird billionaire legend that eating the rarest animals on Earth would expand your mind. Like, in a magical way. They do it before they make huge business decisions. I'm not saying it's magical chupacabra steak, but what I am saying is that somebody was able to convince some rich asshole that it is. Trust me, I wish nothing more than you calling me back with the news that it's iguana or whatever.
I'll do my best.
Another thing that I like about this is the scene dressing. Of course, for those of you that don't know, when you're working on a film set, sometimes you have to dress the scene, put props in the background, decorate it a little bit. It really gives off the vibe this guy might be a scientist, where he has like fossils and a whole bookshelf and rocks. It just kind of sells it a little bit more.
Yes, thank you so much for taking my call. I figure now's probably the time to get an expert second opinion. It's just that I have 0 acceptable results, and I'm honestly just out of tests to run.
Dr. Newman, do you know if your sample is safe?
Safe? I'm not entirely sure what you mean.
For human consumption, is your sample safe?
I don't really know, to be honest.
We tend to forget that none of the computing power that we can create comes close to the billions of neurons in our brain and the thousands of taste buds in our mouths. If nothing else has brought you results, I'd recommend you try a simple taste test.
Right here, I love the fact that he took this priceless meat and is cooking it on the skillet. It looks a lot like pulled pork, maybe with food dye in it, but yeah. I like that very abrupt cutoff there with the footage of a lens flare on the sun, as if this is sort of opening up his mind and he can see things that he's not supposed to. But yeah. And that was The Study. And now we're going to move on to the next film, which is called Snipe. Which, for those of you that don't know, a snipe is a mythical type of bird. And this is by A Power Film. I guess that's the name of the... That might be the name of the group. I really don't know. Again, these are supposed to be group-oriented film projects for the weekend. So...